and welcome to another episode of RVN Television show, What the Why with Barbara Ann. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Maybe at some point in your life, you were sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, or maybe you felt stuck and you wanted to get unstuck. Well, one thing that all of our guests have in common with you is at some point they felt similarly and they decided to do something about it. And today's guests can definitely empathize with you, and yes, I'm saying guests. We actually have two people. This is the first time I'm doing one in studio and one Zoom, but they are a team, and so I need to have them together. Please join me in welcoming our returning guest, Jo Colantonio, with tons of initials behind her name, executive coach, leadership expert, and CEO of Ignite Business Partners. She's here with us live in studio, and then we're also welcoming our first-time guest, Jennifer Gance, who also has a bunch of initials behind her name. She's also an executive coach. She's a leadership and team development expert, and she owns Jennifer Gance, LLC. So I'm going to start with a little bit of background on Jo, and then I'm going to give you some background on Jennifer, because these are two extremely impressive women. Jo Colantonio, also known as Josephine, but we all know her and love her as Jo. As I mentioned, she's the CEO of Ignite Business Partners, and she runs a consulting, coaching, and training company that is known for disrupting the status quo to grow high-energy organizations with extraordinary people, vibrant cultures, enlightened leadership, and cutting-edge business strategies that are proven to get big results, empowered leaders, engaged employees, and increased profits. Jo's customized solutions focus and results-driven approach is fueled by cutting-edge business strategies, building executive presence and emotional intelligence, closing skill gaps, and positively influencing mental fitness, all of which are essential to business growth, leading with impact, influence, and outperforming the competition. Jo is passionate about sharing her insights with individuals and organizations all over the world. In addition to over 2 decades of business experience, Jo holds dual degrees in economics and business, and MBA in marketing, postgraduate certifications in change management, talent development, team performance, leadership development. She's an award-winning executive business coach, professional certified coach with International Coach Federation, and founder of the Ignite Excellence in Coaching Academy.
You did a lot of research on me,
I do.
lady.
An ICF accredited coach certification program, which is the gold standard in the industry. She's also currently an associate dean at Fairleigh Dickinson University's Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, where her executive leadership coaching certification program is currently offered. Now it's time for Jennifer. Not to be outdone, Jennifer Gance of Jennifer Gance LLC helps professionals and organizations execute their change management visions into transformational experiences. With almost 20 years of experience in corporate and various leadership roles, she specializes in many aspects of organizational changes and restructures and has done so throughout her career. Her change management experience includes executing or implementing just a few of these following. Strategies around employee morale, company culture, and emotional intelligence, organizational downsizing and winding down, buy and sell of M&A, which I don't even know what M&A is. She's going to have to explain that. Interdepartmental integration systems migrations, preparations for internal and external offsets, training and leadership programs.
Big words in Jennifer's bio.
Yes, she's got lots of words. Well, because she's much more process-oriented, and I can empathize with that. She's also worked with companies on staffing up and streamlining processes and adoption of policies and procedures, compliance, and you name it. She does all of this by providing a mix of technical hands-on skills and experience with a professional corporate coaching support modality. In other words, she works with individuals, groups, and she even runs mastermind groups. In other words, the company needs are matched with their core values and employee values, and communications are seamless to enhance the employee buy-in and execution, which is so critical to the success of these initiatives. Jennifer holds a Bachelor of Business Administration and Management and a Master's of Professional Accountancy in Accounting, both from the Metropolitan State University of Denver. She's an active member of the International Coach Federation and chapter leader, also certified coach through the International Coaching Federation. She's been published in the Women of Denver magazine and holds multiple additional certifications, including certification for coaching through IPEC, emotional intelligence, teams coaching, many more. So, like I said, two amazing women. So without further ado, please welcome me in joining Joe Colantonio, and alongside of us via Zoom from Colorado, Jennifer Gance. So yay!
Oh, thank goodness she's on there. I couldn't find her.
Thank you, Barbara Ann.
Was looking all around the studio. Barbara Ann, do I hang out with smart gals or what?
You do. Which
The
I guess
three
means,
of us. That
yes.
means you too.
Yes, and I've had the pleasure of taking different levels of classes with both of you, and so yes, I'm super thrilled to have these two amazing women here. And so Jennifer, I'm going to ask you, for those of our viewers who have seen the show, we know that I always start after reading everybody's incredibly amazing bios, and there's half the time that's only part of the story. I then ask, I don't know if this is what you thought you'd be doing when you were growing up. So Jennifer, what did little Jennifer want to be when she was growing up?
Oh my gosh, like this question is the best question ever. Because it really made me go back. So when I was younger, I actually wanted to be a movie star. And my movie star name was Booty. And from there, as I got more indoctrinated through the education system, I was like, I want to be a lawyer. And I couldn't tell you why, but I was kind of moving in the right direction in my career path in corporate, because I did work side by side with a lot of legal. And then as I got older, going through high school, I started to get a little more practical, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I was like, I definitely need to go to college and figure out what I need to do now, for real. And what I ended up doing is I really had a knack for writing, so I wanted to write a book. I wanted to get into journalism, and my ex-fiance's mother said one day, "You will never make any money doing that." And my will was so weak then, I actually switched my major. I was like, business is the safest way to go. Just get me into the system, right? Mm-hmm. And so I ended up just going to school for business, not knowing what I wanted to do, just what is out there. And I got hired at Lehman Brothers, which I'm sure you guys have heard of.
Wow, yes.
I thought I hit the big one. I was like, NYC all the way. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this sounds exciting. And about 9 months later, the housing crisis hit. So when you had talked about my bio, the wind down, that was where I got a lot of this. I began to get this awareness around leadership and communication, and just how I think it was unconscious, of course, Lehman Brothers treated their employees on the way out. So I ended up staying there for 5 years for the wind down, went through 25 plus layoffs where I was finally like, just lay me off. Wow. And that's what pierced my awareness into this could have been done so much better. Just from talking to employees, even managers were being so open and honest about how terrible it was. Mm-hmm. So after that, got my master's, and I was like, I'm going to be an accountant. I'm not knocking accountants. I think I was going for safety. There was no freedom in being an accountant for me, but somebody saw my resume and really liked the fact that I had worked at Lehman Brothers and all my skills with that, nothing to do with accounting, although it helped. So I got into commercial real estate. And that is where my consciousness expanded, where I finally had my one good boss out of 9 who was so emotionally intelligent, but she didn't know, right? She was like this unconscious mentor leader. And I was just like, what is this? Uh-huh. I've never had anybody that actually cared about my career path, that actually cared about the team while also caring about the company. Kind of throwing us to the wolves and letting us learn and wanting to grow us. And She took me under her wing, really mentored me in leadership. We built a team together. She passed off a subsidiary of this commercial real estate company. And from there, that's how I got into coaching, wanting to get into like, okay, I had a great mentor, leadership. How can I expand this? So that's what got me into coaching.
Awesome. So now Joe has been here. As I mentioned, Joe is a returning guest. But really briefly, Joe, can you remind, for those who maybe haven't seen past episodes in season 1, what you wanted to be when you grew up and how you got to where you are?
So I came up through a family business. So I knew that it would have something to do with business in one way or another. And when I was in college at the time, the safest route, like you, Jennifer, seemed to be major in economics and business, right? That business administration, that'll get you wherever you need to do to get in the door. And that was kind of boring, economics. So I went on to grad school and pursued marketing, and that's when I really found my passion, which was working with people, branding, marketing, business development, growth. And I always tell the story that, or use the story that I spent the first 20 years of my career making people look good on the outside for performance. And I'm going to spend the next 20 making them feel good on the inside so that they can perform on the outside and everything can align. And that's eventually, that route, again, through that marketing arm, brought me to working with people, working with individuals, learning their challenges, and really began to shift from a product base more to a consulting base. And it was just a natural extension. I found myself in leadership development and coaching and loved it and haven't turned back since.
Wow. And believe it or not, it's almost time for a commercial break. But real quick, it's coaching what brought the two of you together. And I did also want to mention real quick, because since you brought up Lehman Brothers, one of my favorite movies is all of the different series with Despicable Me. And at one point, Dr. Evil goes to get a loan from a bank called the First Bank of Evil, and underneath it is a sign that said formerly known as Lehman Brothers. So I just, every time I hear Lehman Brothers, I think of Minions. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to take up so much time telling that story. We are going to break for a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to find out how Joe from New Jersey and Jennifer from Colorado connected with each other and created something amazing. Welcome back to What the Why with our very special guests today, Joe Colantonio and Jennifer Gance. And right before the break, I mentioned that the thing they have in common is coaching, but how did Jennifer from Colorado and Joe from New Jersey connect with each other, and what have they done? Which of you would like to take that question?
Joe, please.
So we ended up in a training program together. You know, within the coaching industry, accomplished coaches are continual learners. So we're always trying to, add value and stay on the cutting edge of the industry. And so I called Jennifer, well, she called it me first. We were each other's $10,000 friends. So we met in a program, and we got each other out of it.
Okay.
So we had, over the years being in the industry, we had both taken lots of training, experienced different things, and decided to put our heads together and offer something that we felt was lacking everywhere else. Would that be accurate, Jen, to say?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so long story short, I guess, we realized we had what we needed. That was kind of what came out. I mean, not only Joe came out of the program, but we realized we already had what we needed. And so that's what brought us together to create our own projects with our own creativity out of our own experience, which I think is just really a rich partnership.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So I think what makes us a little bit unique within the industry is that we are both in the corporate world doing corporate education. You and I have done some work together as well. Barbara Ann and Jennifer know each other. So we're the real deal. I mean, we're not bringing you, our programming is not textbook. There's not thousands of slides and memorization. We're going to show you how we roll up our sleeves and get in there and use grit and perseverance and emotional intelligence and whatever else we're going to pull out of our tool set and support organizations to develop their leaders and their teams and their whole culture.
Wow. And it's interesting that you chose to use the words grit and determination, because even within the two of you, there's a little bit of a yin-yang, which is what makes it work in terms of the strengths you each bring to the table. But you both are operating companies. You're both doing trainings. You both are in leadership positions. You're the president of the International Coaching Federation Jersey chapter. Jennifer, you've been president. I believe you're still in roles there. How did you find the time and the energy to come together to develop this really important program, which is actually a new initiative in of itself within the International Coaching Federation?
I can start with that. For me, it's been more fun than anything, because we're actually doing this on a day-to-day basis. You know, a lot of my companies I work with have been long-term. I mean, I'm working with one company going on 3 years, so it's always just constantly in my day-to-day process. So it's very easy for us to come together and create something that is unique based on what we're experiencing every day.
We collaborate.
I don't know, Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we collaborate a lot with each other. You know, I may be in a company and give Jennifer a ring and say, oh my gosh, you know, this is what I'm working with. Can you have some time to brainstorm some ideas, and vice versa? So I think the real jewel in working with teams and leaders is really being able to pivot in the moment in true coaching form to meet the client where they are. And I think that's what our strength is, both of us together. We can take a model and we can modify it. We can build a model. We can, we've built programs driving in the car, talking to each other. And, if I'm driving, Jen will say, I'm typing, or vice versa. So a lot of it is chemistry, and that's something that we look for in the coaching industry when we talk about like creating that alliance, right? Even with individual clients. Where's the synergy? Where's the chemistry? Where are our values aligned? Are they the same? Do we have the same purpose? So it was really very natural for the two of us to resonate towards each other once we got into this particular program.
Yeah. So you saw a need, you decided to fill the need. Let's talk about what you are doing. So you have co-created this team coaching certification program. Which of you, or both of you, would like to tell us more about this program that you've just recently launched?
I'll do a little, and you can do a little, Jen?
Right. Go ahead.
So the program is Leading Intelligent Teams, and we're actually kicking off this month. So we're sharing our love of coaching in the month of February by launching the day after Valentine's Day.
It's launching February 17th.
Okay, couple days, at least Valentine's week. All right, so we have it there, and the program is going to run over the semester. As typically most of our programming does, it runs along the same system as the collegiate lines. We did a lot of research. We did some focus group interviews. We researched other programs that were out there, and then we just sat down and said, how can we create a really innovative, fun, engaging program that's going to be not like anything else? Let's disrupt team coaching.
Awesome.
And you want to take it from there, Jen, and just sort of add to that?
Yeah, because I think what really makes it unique is the real-time learning. So just getting out of a team conflict last week. Okay, there was a lot of coaching I had to do in the moment. I had to readjust my program, basically rewrite it in a day because of the real-time knowledge that happened when I was working with this team, and then watching the outcome. That things like that we can bring to this program. So it's not just, hey, this is what they say works with teams. It's
This is
we're
what's
seeing this
happening.
work with teams in real life, and maybe this will work too, but this is what worked for us in the moment.
Yeah. And just to clarify, because you can go on Facebook now, depending on the types of searches you do, and you can see certification programs out there. People are like, oh, for 1997, you could become a certified coach. That is not what you do. This
No.
program is intensive. So you want to talk about, a little bit about what makes you so different from these other programs out there that basically turn people into coaches in a day.
So the flagship program that I have is a level 2 program, and all of the training materials, the content for the Leading Intelligent Teams program is all level 2 accredited ICF educational content. So that in itself differentiates us from a 1 hour or a 1 day class. We both have over 20 years, over 40 years combined of experience. And again, we are doing this every single day.
Right.
To tap on, Jennifer just told a story and she shared with me, we did a debrief of that program that had a lot of conflict. I've been in a situation where I was told that I was going in to work with frontline managers, and instead it was C-suite who walked in the room.
Okay.
And what was prepared was for frontline managers. And so in that minute,
You had to pivot.
I had to pivot and pull up other content, rearrange the whole day. And that's something that only experience can do. And we want to teach that experiential skill to our students. So they're going to have the tools, they're going to have the programming, but we're going to teach them our fairy dust on how we can literally align with the ICF core competencies and meeting the client exactly where they are, meeting that team where they are. Infused in our program are the new ICF team coaching competencies, which align with the new ICF core competencies. So we're really doing something special, and I'm excited to be doing it with Jennifer.
Okay. So real quick, as we're starting to wind down, there's probably companies and viewers out here who are going, oh my gosh, now how do I know how to pick a coach? So real quick, what are some very quick suggestions, Jennifer, on how someone can identify a coach? Of course, you're going to get an opportunity to tell them how they can reach you as well.
They should just hire us.
True. But,
They should hire a coach who has a very strict confidentiality agreement and that is going to ask leadership to allow the coach to have confidentiality between the employee and be okay with that.
yes.
And that's where the secret sauce of getting the pulse on within the culture, the organization, and the people.
Excellent. Any additional thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, when we go into the organization initially, you have to understand that the employees don't know us. And a lot of times they're not really sure why we're there, even though they've been told. They can tend to have a lot of fear around it. So it's our job to work with them and establish trust and safety and create a safe space for them to be able to share with us so that we can really help them. And tagging on to that confidentiality agreement, if the employee does not feel that confidentiality is intact, we are really not going to get to the core issue. And that's the difference between, as you know, transformational coaching and transactional coaching.
Yeah. And you both work with transformative.
Yes.
You change people. As someone who's been through programs with you, I mean, it literally, even when you're approaching it from a business perspective, it's life-changing. It really is.
Thank you. We don't go in and do a one-day training.
Yeah.
Our engagements are 6 months, I think for both of us, right? 6 months to 1 year plus.
Yeah.
You're building a relationship.
Right.
You become part of that company with the company, and there's a lot of collaboration and communication there that goes both ways.
And like you said, you meet them where they are. So if they would like, if any of our audience members would like to meet you, how can they reach you?
They can actually go to either one of our websites and probably get to either one of us from either one of our websites. So I think they're throwing up my information now, and they'll probably throw up Jennifer's next. I'm at ignitebusinesspartners.com. Jennifer, do you want to give a shout out for your
just
website?
In case,
Yeah, I'm at Gance.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
And also, both of you can be searched on LinkedIn. I mean, if you Googled either one of them, if you went to the International Coaching Federation, in case you forgot what ICF stands for, you're going to find both of them. So thank you so much for taking time to join us in studio via Zoom from Colorado. It's always a pleasure, of course.
Thank you for having us, Barbara Ann. We love coming to visit you.
Yeah.
And welcome tomorrow. We lost Jennifer because the battery was low on this end. It's not Jennifer, it was our end. She could still hear us, but we're wrapping up. So as for our upcoming episodes, now that we are well into season 2, next week we're going to be joined by Lewis Brown Griggs. He's a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging expert, co-author, co-producer, speaker, facilitator, executive coach, and so forth and so on. He's the CEO of Griggs Productions and many, many more. Additional guests are coming our way. Please believe me when I say you don't want to miss any of our future guests or anything that they have to say about their individual journeys. And if you missed any of our past guests, you can check them out on the What the Why on demand page for season 1 and 2. So in case you missed Joe Colantonio's first appearance, you can find it there. You have so many viewing choices these days, so thank you very much for taking the time to watch our show, and please tell a friend. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. on RVN Live and Roku, and on Mondays at 3:30 p.m. all Eastern Time. We're also available on demand through RVN Television and Roku, and coming soon to additional platforms in 2023. And please remember, whether you're looking to make changes in your life or career, big or small, please join us again for more informational, inspirational, and informative conversations with guests such as Jennifer and Joe, who decided to make change and partner in a different way, overcome whatever challenges, concerns, fears, resource navigation needs they might have had to make their dreams happen, move forward with purpose, and live their why.